Hey everyone, and welcome to today's segment of Ask Me Anything. Today I only have about 5 questions, so let's get started. Question 1. How do you keep your thoughts straight? Sometimes I don't. Sometimes my thoughts just run wild, and that causes me sometimes sleepless nights, to be absolutely honest. But for times where random thoughts just come into my mind, I will tend to just write them down on a piece of paper or on my sticky note app on my computer, or even at times if I'm on the road, I'll take my phone and just jot it down there. I actually have quite a number of story ideas on my phone still that I'm hoping to reflect back on for future story ideas. So it's a hard process, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but generally I do attempt to just write them down real quick and continue on to whatever it was I was doing. So the second question, how do you get through writer's block? Oh my goodness. That is a really interesting question. I have multiple ways of getting through that. Sometimes I'll put my earbuds in and I'll just listen to my music and just kind of pace the house or pace the yard or something. And generally speaking, that works because sometimes along with listening to music, I'll act it out. I know that sounds really weird, and I don't normally do that when people are watching, but I'll act out a scene that I'm struggling with, and generally those scenes are conflict or dialogue scenes. And that's, for the most part, that's what I try to do. Now, for scenes that are descriptive and that have a lot going on, that are action scenes, what I attempt to do is draw them out. I can't draw to save my life, but I do rough sketches just to give myself an idea of where things are located. And sometimes, if it's based off of a real place, like a real state or a country for that matter, I just start researching like crazy, and then more ideas will come from that. So there's a lot of different processes that get me out of writer's block, and sometimes I find that the best thing to do is just wait. Not idly wait, but just chew on the information, trying to figure out what I'm thinking, and just wait for it to come, because inspiration will still come. It will just might take a little bit longer than other inspiration and different ideas. So what's the hardest thing about writing now? I'd say the hardest thing is, at least for me, just describing things, because at least my recent story ideas take place in out-of-world situations. So for me, it's hard to describe what I'm seeing in my head. And again, that's where a lot of my writer's block comes into place. But I've gotten a lot better over the years describing things, but I just have to say that'd be the hardest thing for me. So how do you create your characters? Question 4. My characters. Well, what I attempt to do most of the time is think of the person or the type of individual I want to write about. That's what I normally do. And with that, I try to think of their personality. I try to think of their upbringing, where they lived, just normal things that you would see in an average day person. And then sometimes what I do is I'll be going out to the store and I'll see somebody that reminds me of the character I am trying to portray. And so sometimes people will inspire me for characters in that regard. So it's really a building process, just like with any aspect of a story. And some situations take longer, and sometimes characters just randomly pop up in my head, and I don't even know where they came from. They're there. So it's just a matter of finding the right person for the right situation, rather. The last question, what advice would you give to your younger writing self? Slow down and be patient. That is the most important advice I would give to my younger self if I could. When I was younger and I first started out writing, honestly, that's all I wanted to do was just keep writing, keep going, keep going, keep going, and never stopping. In some situations, that's okay, especially if you have that writing bug or whatever. But when I was younger, I was in such a hurry to have my voice heard, and I didn't just relax and sit back and enjoy the writing ride and the journey. I just wanted it done now. So I think that would be the most important advice I could ever give my writing self, is just slow down and be patient. Good things come to those who wait, as that saying goes. And I can definitely attest to that as I'm older, that they do come when you take the time, you slow down, and just enjoy the journey. Well, that's all I have time for now, but stay tuned for more Ask Me Anything segments. Thanks.